About that time again, we have another volume cover comparison between Rave Master, Fairy Tale, and Eden Zero. This one actually, like, the thing that was really weird is I think it was the one before this one for volume 22. It felt like there was a long time between volume 21 and 22, whereas, like, I don't know, it feels like 22 to 23 has been really fast. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if it's like maybe a week or so earlier or whatever it is. Maybe it's just me unsure of the time. It's just something I wanted to mention. But as it were, we're gonna go over this and see which one, at least for us, first off, which one I like the most, and then obviously in the comments, tell me which ones you guys like the most out of these. All right, so we're gonna start with Rave Master. I really like the general background of it. I think the whole cherry blossom color set with the whole pink background looks really nice with Ellie in the front with all of her cool dance gear and her blue clothing setup. I wish it was a little bit more dynamic because it's nice to look at, but it's not anything crazy. And then there are a couple things that I'm just not a huge fan of when it comes to the setup, like how like Ruby and Shuda, how they really blend in with the background because of their color palettes, as well as to a degree with Haru and Musica too. But I feel like partially that's kind of the point because Ellie's in the front, supposed to be looking at Ellie, but still, obviously, we're talking about the full scale of the cover, and I just don't really like how they look almost like they exist within the environment rather than characters who are there with their crew and are just taking what would be like a cover photo pretty much. It's good. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's nothing kind of crazy, but it is a good cover. The Fairy Tale one, I really like the overall layout of it. The only thing on it that I'm not a big fan of is like Natsu's like whole, like Natsu's pretty much setup, his design in this, like his layout in the panel, I guess cover, his pose. They just don't look that cool. Like I really like Gagio's. Wendy's looks pretty cool. And then my favorite part about it is how the Dorna on him in the back, how it's like the energy around it is just saying don't really care about like the frame is just everywhere. It just looks like it's starting to leak onto the cover. Like it looks like the energy layer on it wasn't supposed to be there initially, just obviously in the way that it's kind of formatted, but it looks like it's just bursting over the general layout of the cover. It's not consistent in any way. It's just sporadic and all over the place. And I really like that. On top of that, I like the really light, like violety purple. I think it looks really good because it doesn't stick with anything directly on the page. So it feels again almost like not an anomaly, but just kind of like this additional thing that shouldn't have been there. Like if this was like like imagine there's like, oh yeah, volume 23 had like a special cover, or it's like a normal one where it doesn't have this, and then there's like one of those ones where it's like, oh yeah, it's got this energy on it, and it's like, I don't know, lenticular holographic, like a special one. It just looks like one of those ones that it's like a slightly upgrade visually if they ever did something like that. Kind of like how volume 62 has the white cover. And then lastly, we have the Eden Zero volume cover. The Eden Zero one is fine. I don't like Shiki looks pretty. Shiki's has a very similar problem, I think, to me that Natsu has on his volume cover. Because like Shiki, it's actually funny. Their arm pose is similar-ish with their left arm, but that's about it. But it's just kind of like all right, nothing kind of crazy. It just looks like Shiki's like getting posed up for an attack, similar to Natsu. Um, you got like Saint Fire Nox in the back. That I thought that was pretty cool because like, obviously if you don't know anything about her, it's just going to be a mysterious character. I like it when we have stuff like that, when it's just you looking at the volume cover. There's obviously stuff you're going to get, like, oh, Ziggy and Shiki are going to be doing stuff this volume. And they're like, who's this blonde chick in the background? I don't know who that is. Like, what is she, like, covered in bubbles? What's the deal with that? Obviously, if you go into a blind, it's just going to be one of those confusing things. And I always really like that. Like, whereas, like, with Fairy Tale, like, in comparison to this one, the Dorna Anum isn't like a... It's not the same thing, obviously, as, like, some secret character reveal. But it just kind of gives the position, oh yeah, they're going to be fighting this weird-looking dragon mech versus, like, obviously Ziggy, who was already present. Also, just a funny thing I just noticed is it's the Machine Boss next to the Machine Boss for Volume 23. Ziggy, though, I really like Ziggy in this one. I think that his just general setup. He's just got like a classic menacing bad guy overlooking everything. The one glowing red eye is a nice touch. I think the one glowing red eye is a really nice touch between this. And, you know, if you just erase it, I think it takes a good chunk of the value off it. Because I think one of the things is the red glow, I think really works with like the one only being a single eye, not both eyes. The golden kind of like whitish silver coloring around it. He's just like dead eye looking right at Shiki. I think it just gives a little bit of extra ominousness to the volume. Ominousness? I don't know what's the word. Ominous vibe to it. It's kind of hard though to pick this one, just because like I said, I'm gonna be honest. Like I like all three of these. I don't love all three. The only thing about them that I would say like really sticks out to me, like when I look at it, is one, I like the glowing red eye, but also, like I said, I like the Dorna on him energy aura around it. I think that's really cool. Like, I really like that it has no conventional setup. It just looks like energy is just radiating and sporadically just torrenting all around him, and it's like just everywhere. I think that is really cool. That's probably my favorite thing about these volume covers. It's just like when you have small like one set stuff off like that, when again the volume covers are cool, but none of them have like a huge kind of tell off for me. Like the last one, volume 22, the Eden 01 was awesome. I really liked the color set, really liked Shiki's pose on it, and I really just liked it in general. I thought it was great. And then I'm trying to remember what I don't want to look up next volumes because it's like next volume for Fairy Tail is like what, going into Sirius Island, and then Rave Master. I think Rave Master's doing stuff with Hardner. I don't remember off the top of my head, but we'll see. I know the next couple volume covers for Fairy Tail is they're gonna start kicking off when we get to 30. I don't know if I can't remember what Rave Master volume 30 is. Eden Zero will need a fucking a crazy volume cover to beat 30. That's the Acnologia one, the full spread, not like he's taking out. He's a screw the frame. He's just everywhere. We'll see. Either way, this one, I'll give it a slight margin to Fairy Tail. Just because I think the Eden Zero one is a thing I want to put in there. I think because I didn't mention it. I think the black, like that, I don't know if it's, I think it's black, or it's like super dark blue of the general color. Like the color for like, you know, the frame and the lettering and stuff on the volume cover. I'm not like the black looks cool, but it doesn't. It's not like the last volume cover where like the color of it really helped the picture. Like it really just the color combination, the vibrance of it really helped. Whereas this one, I think it doesn't do that. It's cool, but it just doesn't have that same way that it benefits the rest of the image the way that the last volume cover did. So yeah, I'll give it to Fairy Tail just by a slight margin because I really like the cool energy surge going around the Dorna on him. But I could see for a lot of people just going either way, because like the Rave Master one is definitely the prettiest. It's definitely the most beautiful in terms of visual appearance, but it doesn't have any kind of like real hook factors in my opinion. And I think that's got to be something in there. You can't just have like a volume cover that, you know, it's nice to look at. It's got to be one that has a lot of value in its, you know, telling what's going to be in this part of the story. Is it is it spoiling too much? Is it not telling you enough? Is it one of those ones where it's just, oh, characters on there that has almost nothing to do with the volume cover, or is barely in the volume? It'd be like, oh yeah, like putting someone on there who's in like 2 panels, and you know, it's just like they have a center stage or something ridiculous and stuff like that. Obviously, we don't have anything like that, but you know what I mean. I'm sure people can think of volume covers where you're just like, what is this guy doing here? Well, easy example, not the best one, but how much Seki in his like 3 pages in the Spade arc, and yet he ended up on that volume cover, and people were like, why? That's what I mean, where it's just like, it's kind of strange. But anyway, other than that, like I said, I'll get to Fairy Tail this week by a slight margin. Slight margin on this one. Tell me your thoughts, though. Which one do you like the most? Do you like the Rave Master one more? Do you like the Eden Zero one more? Or do you agree with the Fairy Tail one with me? Either way, like I said, comment below, thumbs up the video, click the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Been that, I appreciate it. If you already subscribed, thank you all for listening. Bye.